What is going on, people of YouTube? My name is Kurtyoy and welcome back to another video. Now today I've got something I'd hopefully say is a weekly running thing, and if you see the title and get confused with the FPL content, that will be out tomorrow. So bear with me. This is just something separate so I can talk about football, non-FPL related terms. So if you are there for that, feel free to click away, or feel free to click here because I'm going to give more insight into the game rather than the players and the points. That being said, we've got to talk about Hull versus Leicester to kick us off. Hull went in there with 13 players ready for the new season, two of which were two goalkeepers, Jakubiak and Kurtyoy, I think that's how you say his name. The rest of them were on the pitch. The only player to be left out was Sean Maloney, bless him. But the game started off, it was generally, it was an okay game. Leicester were trying to play their counter-attacking style, of course, without Kante and without Hoof, and that was a key thing for Leicester. I would say something that's their missed, but I'll get onto that in a sec. Late on, in the first half, I believe, there was a goal. A goal scored by Mr. Diomande in the added time of the first half, and it was strange. It was a really strange and unique goal because in, cohesion with each other, Diomande and Hernandez both went up for the overhead kick. Diomande ended up getting it. Hernandez got the assist for you FPL players out there. And that ended the first half like, whoa, what have we seen here? Leicester are 1-0 down. They can't play that counter-attacking style because Hull were playing very, very deep line, very compact play, very rigid, and we're not allowing Leicester any room to run in behind. They'd have to drop deep, and it was really, I'd say, frustrating. Leicester. There were times I got in behind the defence because Leicester are that type of team. When you've got the pace of like Gray, Mahrez, Musa, and Vardy, you're going to get in behind no matter how deep you play. Second half starts after that. Mahrez scores a penalty 2 minutes in. It started outside the box, carried on kind of inside. Fortunate penalty. Mahrez dispatches 1-1. The man who probably, I'd say, looking at his attitude, I doubt he will be a Leicester player coming into the season. If he is, then it'll be a whole Forestieri situation again. But they just start going. Leicester start playing better football, but Hull were also playing good football. And in the end, come like the 60th minute, Robert Snodgrass fired in a left-footed volley into the bottom right-hand corner. Wheels away in celebration, makes it 2-1. That's how the game ended. And it was worrying for Leicester because, they lost the first game of the season. I think it was the first time ever in the Premier League, they said, that a reigning champion has lost the first game. And there's a lot of things that can be said. I mean, admittedly, there were a few Leicester fans I do follow on Twitter were generally just like Hull played better, and master tactician Mike Phelan, who was there at Man United for so long, has proved he is relatively good at coaching and relatively good at managing, and I'm surprised really he didn't really do anything major like in Premier League level beforehand, but nonetheless he is here. And why did Leicester lose? Was it because they were missing Kante and Hoof? And was it just because it wasn't their day? It wasn't their day. They can't blame the fact on Hoof and Kante missing. If Leicester fans do that, and if any fans do that, I'm sorry, but that reasoning is absolutely bollocks. It's a fucking ridiculous statement to make. Reason being, against any other team, I would have said, yes, that's acceptable. But you're playing against a whole side that has just come up from the Championship, okay, just come up from the Championship, has not signed any players, sold one of their best players, if not their best player, in Mo Diame. And they have 13 fit players, 11 fit outfield players. Now, it's fair to say, Hoof was missing at the back, quite worrisome. You had a centre-back there to replace him. Kante missing in the midfield. You have a midfielder there to replace him. Hull's whole team was a shit shack. Livermore was playing in centre-back. You've got a winger/forward Klukas playing pretty much a holding midfielder role. Any other team would have said yes, but Hull, generally on the day, played a lot better than people thought and ruined a lot of people's accas. And to that I say credit. Leicester, is it worrying? No. I feel like they need to play Mendy or Amati there instead of King, personally, to sort of play that holding midfielder role. But it's not worrying for Leicester. There is still time to improve. It's only the first game of the season, but it gives Hull real good hope for the season ahead. Next up, we got the late kickoff for Saturday's game, which was Manchester City versus Sunderland. The return of Moyes versus the start of Pep's reign. Now, I rather to a lot of people's anger, predicted City would have quite a poor season, finishing in 6th. And to be honest, although there is still time to change, I believe they will get better with time. The Pep Guardiola Man City didn't look good. They did play well. Yes, they did. Have lots of goal-scoring chances, but in the end, they've won 2-1 against a team that just brushed off relegation last season. Have probably not made any decent first-team signings. You've got Diliboji, who's an unproven Premier League player. You've got Januzaj, who's a failed Premier League player, and you've got McNair and Love, who have been sort of failed youth players at Manchester United. But that being said, Man City got the job done, and that is what is important. They didn't have the best of the games. I think everyone can say that. They are missing players, yes. I think, you look at the midfield, it was so attacking. You've got Fernandinho, who's not the most defensive player, but can play in that role. Then you've got Silva, De Bruyne, Sterling, and I can't remember the last name. Nolito, that was it. Nolito in the midfield. That's a very, very attacking midfield. But credit where credit is due. They got the job done. Admittedly, it could have been more, but also you can't forget that Sunderland had more chances and had a lot of chances. And if it could have gone either way. Admittedly, possession-wise, yes, City were in front. And shot-wise, yeah, I'd say City were pretty much in front. But that doesn't win you games. Getting the ball in the back of the net wins you games. And maybe City were unlucky. Maybe City, if they would have played, one too many passes or just another pass, they could have got 3 or 4 more goals. But there is still time for improvement. City, at the moment, if that is the finished product of Pep's team, it's not looking good. I mean, Pep did say after the game he can understand why I say it's the hardest league in the world. And that's something that I'm worried about, that all the possession, you come up against a team that is going to sit back and allow them to do that, like Hull did to Leicester, just play really far deep, then I feel like he can get hurt. But it's a positive start for Man City, and so far looking good. They just need to maybe improve on getting the ball in the back of the net, and the season will be pretty much a good season for them. On to the next game, which shall move into Sunday, Bournemouth versus Manchester United, and it finished 3-1 to Manchester United. Of course, everyone was expecting a win. I really should have stuck my money on Manchester United to win, because I got a £20 free bet and wasted it on Leicester, so there you go. Lesson learned, don't bet on Leicester. But it was pretty much a routine Jose Mourinho performance. You've got very sturdy defence, sitting back a lot, not very, I'd say not very good football, but again, it got the job done. There wasn't really anything to go on except in the 40th minute, Juan Mata prays on a mistake and gets a tap in, 1-0. And that was good, because I feel like it was good for Mata, because it shows, yes, he can perform in a Jose Mourinho team, but it was good for Jose Mourinho, because he's thinking, excellent, that's another 5 or 6 million on his asking price when Mourinho decides to throw out Juan Mata, like he's done with Bastian Schweinsteiger. But it wasn't all plain sailing. Bournemouth did have a few chances, but Man United were generally in control. I feel like, so if you saw that, sorry, just having popped up on my PC. But it was generally, like I say, they were in control. Rooney grabbed a goal on the 60-minute mark, and then in a fantastic strike from Ibra, put them 3-0 up. But the only worrying perspective, I suppose, was the fact that Bournemouth did get one back. Still, I feel like Mourinho, although he started well and better than he did in Chelsea's last season, it looks good. It looks good. Maybe stop leaking the goals and Manchester United look good. Of course, they've got to add Pogba. Mkhitaryan didn't play. You've got Chris Smalling to come back. There's all that good stuff to focus on. But for me, good start from Mourinho. Not the most attractive football, but he'll get the job done throughout the season. And now finally, game of the weekend. Arsenal 3, Liverpool 4. Now, considering I predicted 0-0. Okay. I predicted 0-0, so I've only 7 goals out. In fairness to me, I've got a lot of things wrong. Lots of things wrong this weekend. I generally thought it was going to be a good 0-0. And when Arsenal got a penalty in the 30th minute and Walcott missed it, I thought, oh, excellent. But then he scored 60 seconds later, and I was sitting there like, why? Why? But I did say in a FPL preview video, Walcott is one to risk yourself on, and for 7.5 million, ended up being worth the risk. But right before half-time, fantastic free kick from Philippe Coutinho right in the top corner, made it 1-1 through the game. Through the game straight into the fire pit, saying, right, well, let's just leave it there for now, because that's looking really, really tasty. Started the second half, it did start tasty. 5 minutes in, ball shipped through to Lallana, one touch, finish, fantastic finish, goes through the legs in fairness, but fantastic finish, makes it 2-1. Worrying signs for Arsenal, it then became 3-1, and it also became 4-1. And it's something that I have said, that Liverpool can look very, very dangerous, because although they maybe didn't have a defensive midfielder, Henderson was playing there. Also, Milner is now their new left back, I saw, which is really strange. Also, FPL players do not put him in there. They looked dangerous, and the fact you can have a team or attacking lineup with, you know, Coutinho, Firmino, Sane, Mane, and Wijnaldum all in the same team, as well as Alana, 5 attacking midfielders. It just means, you know, you've got 5 things here, and they're just going like this all game. You know, you don't know where they're going to come from, and it's so dangerous. And Arsenal had felt the brunt of that, but they tried to fight back Arsenal. They almost did. Oxlade-Chamberlain and Chambers coming in. Chamberlain and Chambers, there you go. Coming in to get the second and third goals respectively, but it wasn't to be. Is it worrying for Arsenal? Yes, but in fairness to them, they are missing their centre-backs, and people saying, yeah, they need to buy centre-backs. In all fairness, any team that has 3 of their first team centre-backs injured, they're going to struggle. Manchester United, you say Bailey, Smalling and Blind, you injure all 3 of them, they're still going to have a weak centre-back option. You do the same for Chelsea, you could do the same for Manchester City. All 3 of their first team centre-backs, you know, you get rid of 3 of them, boom, anyone is left weak. And to be fairness, Chambers, you know, although he's pretty much failed right back, he is still played in Premier League for quite a while. And then Holding, you know, he's got a lot of good potential, and he did show it there. But he was playing in a Bolton team that finished last in the Championship last season. That pretty much says everything you need to know. So when their centre backs come back, they look good. Koscielny maybe come back next weekend, and who knows when Gabriel and Mertesacker, I'm not too sure on them. But is it worrying for Arsenal? Yes. Do I need to buy? Possibly. But I feel like the squad they've got can do a job this season once they get everyone back fit. And the fact they scored 3 goals, it's positive. It's very positive. And just to run through the other games, Burnley lost 1-0 at home to Swansea. Swansea goal scored by Leroy Fer, new signing, assisted by new signing Llorente. Crystal Palace 0, West Brom run, smash and grab through their main striker. Not Berahino, Mr. Rondon. Just shows whoever is trying to buy Berahino, they're sniffing up the wrong tree. Bark up the wrong tree, that's the wrong one. Barkley scored for Everton, and then Lamela scored for Tottenham in a game that finished 1-1. Another 1-1 in Middlesbrough versus Stoke. A goal found Navarro Negredo, who I did say wouldn't do very well, wouldn't be my first choice, and then a goal from Xherdan Shaqiri, who does not score tap-ins, made that 1-0, and another 1-0. Southampton, Watford win in front through Etienne Capoue. Then Nathan Redmond scored a goal on the first red card of the season to Ben Watson, who barely spent any time on the pitch and got himself sent off. And we're just waiting for the Monday game now. West Ham travel to Stamford Bridge. What may happen? Who knows? Chelsea look favourites, but West Ham have a surprise in Twickenham. Opening day last season, West Ham travelled to another London club and surprised them under their same management. Can they do it? Who knows? But thank you all for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you thought of the weekend's games so far. I've been Kurtyoy, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.